Welcome to the deep dive. We're skipping the surface level today. We go straight to the source.
That's right.
For you, our listener, we're focused on unlocking the real secrets of persuasion for entrepreneurial success, drawing directly from the book, The Art of Persuasion. You're here because you want solid knowledge, fast, without feeling buried in information. And, well, that's exactly what we aim to do.
Our mission, really.
We're diving into practical and, importantly, ethical techniques you can use to boost your influence as you build your business. We'll cover 7 key principles.
7 key sparks, you might say.
I like that. Okay, first, emotions drive decisions, connecting with hearts, not just minds.
Crucial.
Second, respond. Don't react to that entrepreneurial power of staying cool under fire.
Oh, yeah. Essential.
Third, make people feel important, building that tribe of believers around you.
People need to feel valued.
Fourth, establish rapport, your secret weapon for connection and trust.
Can't overstate that one.
Fifth, use tact and diplomacy, navigating those inevitable challenges with grace.
And strength.
And strength, yes. Sixth, take responsibility and give credit, the absolute foundation of leadership.
Builds so much trust.
And finally, seventh, listen actively and ask the right questions, uncovering opportunities and building real understanding.
Where the insights hide.
All right, let's jump right in. Principle 1, emotions drive decisions. The core idea here is, well, people decide with their gut, with their feelings.
Right.
And then they use logic to back it up afterwards. For anyone building a business, understanding this is just huge.
It really is. You know, think about our brains. The emotional response often fires off before the rational part even fully clicks in. It's that gut feeling, like you said, and then we scramble to find reasons why it's right.
Yeah, justification mode.
Exactly. So for entrepreneurs, tapping into this means forging a much stronger connection, whether it's customers, investors, potential hires. You connect by understanding their desires, their dreams, but also their fears, their pain points.
What keeps them up at night?
Precisely. And when your message hits that emotional nerve, it sticks. It becomes memorable.
And it leads to, well, more buy-in, right?
Yeah.
If someone feels good about your idea, your mission, if it resonates emotionally,
they're way more likely to get on board. It's not just about the cold, hard facts of your product or plan. It's the feeling it creates.
And that feeling, that's how you build a memorable brand too, isn't it? The brands we remember, they tell stories that connect emotionally.
Absolutely. Now flip that. What happens if you only focus on logic? Features, specs, data points.
Your message just falls flat, doesn't grab you.
Right. It lacks that spark. In a crowded market, everyone's shouting features. That emotional connection, that's your differentiator. Without it, you struggle to build loyalty. Customers drift, team members might not feel truly invested.
Okay, let's make this concrete. Think about Nike.
Oh, classic example.
It's not really just about the shoe technology, is it? It's about empowerment, achievement, overcoming obstacles, that feeling.
They sell aspiration. They tell stories of victory, of struggle. It hits you right here.
Then there's Apple. Sure, the tech is slick, but their marketing, it's all about simplicity, creativity, feeling connected, being part of something cool.
The experience, the emotional benefit, not just processing power.
And Coca-Cola. They've basically cornered the market on happiness and nostalgia in a bottle.
Totally. It's about togetherness, good times, those warm, fuzzy feelings. Less about the ingredients, more about the moment.
So where do competitors sometimes, miss the mark?
Well, imagine a sportswear brand just listing fabric specs. They miss that whole aspirational drive Nike nails.
Right, the technical details versus the feeling of winning.
Or a tech company just rattling off megahertz and gigabytes, forgetting to explain how it makes your life easier or more creative, unlike Apple.
Loses the human element.
And a drink company talking only about hydration, missing the social connection, the indulgence. They can't touch Coke's emotional grip.
Okay, so for our listeners, the entrepreneurs tuning in, how do they actually use this?
Step 1, deeply understand your audience. Not just demographics, but their emotional landscape. What do they truly desire? What frustrates them? What are they afraid of?
Get inside their heads and hearts.
Exactly. Once you have that insight, you craft your messaging, your brand story to resonate. Use storytelling, use visuals, use language that evokes feeling.
So instead of saying, our software increases efficiency by 20%.
You say, imagine reclaiming hours of your week, reducing stress, and finally having the headspace to focus on the creative work you love. See the difference?
Yeah, logic versus emotion, benefit versus feeling. Got it.
That's the core of it.
All right, principle number 2. This one feels very relevant today. Respond, don't react. That entrepreneurial superpower of keeping your cool when things get heated.
Oh, it's a superpower, all right. In the chaos of building something new, reacting impulsively is easy. Responding thoughtfully. That takes practice, but the payoff is huge.
What are the main benefits then?
Well, first, clarity. When you keep your composure under pressure, and pressure is guaranteed, you can think more clearly. You make better decisions, not just emotional ones.
Less likely to say or do something you regret.
Absolutely. Second, de-escalation. A calm response can stop conflicts from spiraling. Whether it's an angry customer or a tense negotiation, staying cool helps find solutions instead of adding fuel to the fire.
Makes sense.
And third, reputation. Consistently responding thoughtfully builds an image of professionalism, maturity. People trust leaders who are steady under pressure.
And the flip side, reacting impulsively.
Leads to rash decisions, often bad ones made in the heat of the moment. You can seriously damage relationships with hasty words or actions.
Burns bridges.
Definitely. And if you're the leader, constant emotional reactions create a chaotic, anxious environment for your team. Nobody thrives in that kind of instability.
So who does this well? Any company examples?
Amazon's customer service often gets cited. Even with frustrating issues, they train reps to be calm, solution-focused.
Right, they empower them to fix it, not just react.
Zappos is legendary for this too. Empathy, listening, going the extra mile.
Right.
All done with a calm, thoughtful approach.
They built a brand on it.
And even airlines like Southwest, they invest in de-escalation training for handling passenger issues.
Right.
It's about managing the situation, not just reacting to the frustration.
Okay, and where does it go wrong? The mistakes.
We've all seen it. The small business owner arguing with negative reviewers online just makes them look bad.
Total own goal.
Or a CEO losing their temper in an investor meeting, kills the deal, ruins their reputation.
Yeah, hard to come back from that.
Or just, customer service reps anywhere getting argumentative, turns a bad situation into a disaster.
So how does an entrepreneur cultivate this? How do you practice responding, not reacting?
It starts with the pause. Consciously create space between the trigger and your response. Take a breath. A few deep breaths can literally calm your nervous system.
Simple but effective.
Then try to understand the other side. What's driving their reaction? Empathy helps. And when you do respond, keep your tone calm, professional. Focused on solutions, not blame.
Use those I statements too, right? I feel, and then you did.
Exactly. I feel frustrated by this delay is very different from you made me late. It expresses your feeling without attacking. Choosing to respond builds trust and shows real leadership.
Okay, let's move to principle 3. Make people feel important. Seems basic, but maybe overlooked.
Hugely important, and yes, often overlooked in the rush. It taps into a fundamental human need to be valued, to be seen.
And the benefits for a business.
Massive loyalty, for starters. Customers, employees, partners, when they feel genuinely appreciated, they stick around.
Create stickiness.
Definitely. It also boosts teamwork. People who feel their contributions matter are more engaged, more collaborative. They bring their best selves.
And sense, more motivation.
And it fuels brand advocacy. Happy, valued people become your best marketers. They spread the word naturally.
Okay, and the downside of not doing this?
Pretty severe. High employee turnover is a big one. Talent goes where it's appreciated.
The Great Resignation showed that.
Absolutely. Customer dissatisfaction, too. If they feel like just a number, they'll find someone who treats them better. And weak relationships with crucial stakeholders, suppliers, investors, if they don't feel valued, why should they go the extra mile for you?
Who nails this? Making people feel important.
Starbucks is a go-to example. Using names, remembering orders, small gestures, big impact, makes you feel recognized.
Personal touch.
HubSpot is known for valuing employee feedback, celebrating wins publicly, makes the team feel heard and integral.
Builds a strong culture.
And Nordstrom. Their customer service empowers employees to make customers feel like the absolute priority. It's legendary for a reason.
So the contrast. Where do others fail?
Think of that generic coffee chain where you're just the next transaction. No connection, no loyalty compared to Starbucks.
Yeah, feels different.
Or a tech startup that ignores its engineers' input. They'll lose talent to places like HubSpot where voices are heard.
Bleeding talent.
And any retail store with bored, unhelpful staff versus the Nordstrom experience. Night and day. Customers vote with their feet.
So practical tips.
Yeah.
How does an entrepreneur actually do this consistently?
Use names. It's so simple, so powerful. Practice active listening, really hear people, show you're interested, nod, ask follow-up questions.
Be present.
Seek their advice. It shows you respect their expertise. Publicly acknowledge contributions. Be specific. Remember personal details. How was your daughter's recital? It shows you care beyond the transaction.
Like remembering a regular's coffee order or praising an employee's extra effort on that tricky project.
Exactly. Small things consistently done make a huge difference in how valued people feel.
All right, principle 4, establish rapport. This sounds like the secret sauce for connection.
It really is. Rapport is that feeling of mutual understanding, of being on the same wavelength. It's about finding common ground and subtly aligning yourself with the other person.
Like mirroring, but not creepy mimicking.
Exactly. Subtle mirroring of posture, tone, language. And the benefits. Communication just flows better. People are more open to your ideas when they feel that connection.
Builds trust faster.
Significantly faster. Trust and cooperation increase because there's a sense of comfort, of shared understanding, and interactions become more positive, more productive.
And without rapport.
It's like trying to connect through static. Building relationships is harder. Influencing is harder. Misunderstandings crop up more easily.
Awkward silences.
Definitely. Just a general feeling of disconnect that hinders everything.
Who's good at teaching or using this?
Salesforce is a great example. They train sales teams to research clients, find common interests, tailor their approach before the pitch, build rapport first.
Do the homework.
Deloitte, in consulting, really emphasizes understanding the client's culture, their way of communicating. To build that trust, they adapt.
Not just imposing their own methods.
Right. And think about your favorite local coffee shop owner or barber. They remember you, chat about local stuff, ask about your family. That's rapport building in action. Creates community.
So the mistakes. Where do people fail at rapport?
The salesperson who launches straight into the hard sell, no warm-up, no connection, feels pushy.
Turns people off immediately.
The consultant who ignores the company culture and just dictates solutions. Creates resistance.
Doesn't feel like a partnership.
Or that new business in town that's purely transactional. No smiles, no chat. They struggle against the established place that knows everyone's name.
Okay, so how does an entrepreneur build rapport intentionally?
Research. Before a meeting, find common ground, LinkedIn connections, shared interests, alma mater. Ask open-ended questions. How did you get started in? What's your take on?
Kept them talking.
Listen to their language, the words they use, and subtly weave similar terms into your conversation. Match their energy level. If they're calm, you're calm. If they're upbeat, mirror that slightly.
But authentically.
Crucial. And always focus on common goals. We both want this project to succeed. Finding that shared objective is a powerful rapport builder.
Got it. Okay. Principle 5. Use tact and diplomacy. Navigating tricky conversations without causing explosions.
Exactly. It's the art of being effective and truthful without being blunt or offensive. Using subtlety, choosing words carefully.
What's the big win here for entrepreneurs?
You can deliver difficult news feedback, disagreements, bad news without destroying relationships. That's huge. It prevents conflicts from escalating.
Smooths things over.
And it builds goodwill. People respect someone who can handle tough situations with grace and consideration.
And the risk of not being tactful.
You can easily offend or alienate people, even unintentionally. Bluntness often creates defensiveness, making people less receptive to your message.
Shuts down the conversation.
Right, and it can really damage your reputation. You get known as insensitive or difficult.
Who exemplifies tact?
Think about how Google often frames performance feedback. It's usually constructive, focused on growth, not just criticism.
Supportive, rather than purely critical.
Procter & Gamble is often cited for their diplomatic approach in negotiations. They focus on finding win-win solutions, maintaining relationships even when bargaining hard.
Long-term view.
And PR firms. Their entire job is crafting tactful messages, especially during a crisis. It's a specialized skill.
And the failures. The lack of tact.
The manager delivering brutal, unfiltered criticism, demoralizing, counterproductive.
Rushes confidence.
The supplier using aggressive take-it-or-leave-it tactics might win once, but burns the bridge for future deals.
Short-sighted.
And any company releasing a tone-deaf public statement during a controversy shows a complete lack of sensitivity and diplomatic skill. Can be disastrous.
So how do we practice tact and diplomacy?
Choose your words thoughtfully. Pause before speaking, especially when emotional. Frame things positively where possible. Here's an area for development instead of, this is wrong.
Reframing.
Use I statements again. Employ the sandwich method for feedback. Positive, constructive point, positive. Phrase requests as questions. Would you be open to considering? instead of do this.
Softens the approach.
And crucially, acknowledge the other person's perspective first. I understand your concern about X, and I'd like to suggest Y. It shows you've heard them before presenting your view.
Validates their position. Makes a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Okay, principle 6. Take responsibility and give credit. Sounds like core leadership stuff.
It is absolutely fundamental. It's about accountability and recognition, owning your mistakes and celebrating others' successes.
Builds trust, right?
Immensely. When you take responsibility, people see integrity. When you give credit, people feel valued and motivated.
Yeah.
It fosters a positive, supportive environment.
Enhances your reputation as fair.
Definitely. It shows you're a leader who shares both the burdens and the rewards.
And the cost of not doing this. Shirking responsibility, hogging credit.
Trust evaporates. Morale plummets. If people see you blaming others or stealing their thunder, they disengage.
Creates resentment.
Big time. It makes building a strong, collaborative team culture almost impossible. And your leadership reputation takes a massive hit. You look self-serving and untrustworthy.
Examples of companies or leaders getting this right.
Patagonia is often highlighted. They take responsibility for their environmental impact very publicly, and they consistently credit employees and partners for successes.
Builds brand loyalty around values.
Netflix leaders have been known to publicly own mistakes, fostering a culture where it's okay to fail and learn. They also heavily promote and credit the creative talent behind their hits.
Shares the spotlight.
And successful startup founders often make a point of acknowledging the crucial contributions of their early team. They know they didn't do it alone.
Creates that we're in this together feeling.
Exactly. Now, the contrast, where does it go wrong?
A company always blaming market conditions instead of internal missteps loses credibility.
Right, unlike Patagonia's transparency. Or a media exec deflecting blame for a flop onto the creative team. Kills morale, drives talent away.
Toxic environment.
Or the classic startup founder who acts like a solo genius, ignoring the co-founders and early employees who sacrificed alongside them. Breeds resentment fast.
So how does an entrepreneur live this principle day to day?
Be quick to publicly acknowledge contributions. Be specific. Sarah's insight on X was crucial. When things fail, step up first. Say, I take responsibility for, or we missed the mark here.
Own it.
Use we for successes. We achieved this goal. Provide genuine, specific praise. Encourage peer-to-peer recognition, too. Make gratitude part of the culture.
It's about fostering that environment of mutual respect and shared ownership.
That's the heart of it.
Okay, final principle, number 7. Listen actively and ask the right questions. Feels like this ties everything together.
It really does. It's about truly hearing people, understanding their perspectives, and using inquiry to uncover insights and opportunities. It's more than just not talking.
What are the key benefits here?
You gain incredibly valuable information you'd otherwise miss: customer needs, employee ideas, market shifts. You show respect, making people feel heard and valued, which deepens relationships.
Builds rapport and makes people feel important.
Exactly. See the connections. And it fuels problem solving and innovation. The right questions can unlock new perspectives and lead to breakthroughs.
And if you don't listen well or ask good questions,
You misunderstand needs, you make assumptions based on incomplete data, you make poor decisions.
operating in the dark.
Pretty much. And you damage relationships because people feel ignored or dismissed. Their valuable insights remain untapped.
Who excels at this? What companies prioritize listening?
Intuit is famous for their follow me home research, literally observing customers to deeply understand their pain points. It drives their product development.
True customer obsession.
Google's historical 20% time encouraged asking what if questions, leading to innovations like Gmail and AdSense. It fostered a culture of inquiry.
Empowering curiosity.
And many successful startups live and breathe customer feedback, especially early on. They listen intently and iterate constantly based on what they hear. It's survival.
And the mistakes. Ignoring feedback, not asking.
The software company building features nobody wants because they didn't listen to users.
Building in a vacuum.
The big corporation where employee ideas go unheard, stifling innovation.
And is seeing internal opportunities.
The startup that ignores early customer warnings and crashes because they were too rigid, too unwilling to listen and adapt.
Hubris.
Often, yes. So, how do we become better listeners and questioners?
Give your full attention. Put the phone away, make eye contact, lean in slightly, show you're engaged.
Use nonverbal cues, yeah, and paraphrase. So, if I understand correctly, you're saying, it confirms understanding and shows you're processing.
Ask follow-up questions. Tell me more about that. How did that work? Go deeper.
And don't be afraid of silence. Let them think. Sometimes the best insights come after a pause. Focus on open-ended questions. What? How? Why? Avoid simple yes-no questions.
Elicit more detail.
And ask about their expertise. From your perspective, what's the biggest challenge? People appreciate being asked for their unique insights.
Okay, so that's our 7 principles. Let's recap quickly.
Right. We covered emotions drive decisions.
Respond. Don't react.
Make people feel important.
Establish rapport.
Use tact and diplomacy.
Take responsibility and give credit.
And listen actively. Ask the right questions. All drawn from The Art of Persuasion.
And the core message seems to be that real persuasion isn't about manipulation. It's about connection, understanding, inspiration.
Exactly. It's about building bridges, not just pushing your agenda. When you apply these principles ethically, you build influence and strong relationships.
You mentioned how interconnected they are. Like, active listening builds rapport.
Which makes people feel important, which makes them more open emotionally. It's a virtuous cycle. Mastering one often helps you improve on the others.
That's a great point. So for everyone listening, maybe the key takeaway is to think about which principle feels most relevant right now.
Yeah, where's your biggest opportunity for growth? Which one, if you focused on it this week, could make the biggest difference in your interactions and your business?
And maybe think beyond just personal practice. How could you embed some of this into your team's culture? Regular feedback sessions, training on active listening, recognizing contributions systematically.
Building habits and systems around these principles, not just relying on willpower. Excellent thought.
Well, this has been incredibly insightful. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
My pleasure. Hopefully these sparks ignite some real success for our entrepreneurial listeners.
Welcome to the deep dive. We're skipping the surface level today. We go straight to the source.
That's right.
For you, our listener, we're focused on unlocking the real secrets of persuasion for entrepreneurial success, drawing directly from the book, The Art of Persuasion. You're here because you want solid knowledge, fast, without feeling buried in information. And, well, that's exactly what we aim to do.
Our mission, really.
We're diving into practical and, importantly, ethical techniques you can use to boost your influence as you build your business. We'll cover 7 key principles.
7 key sparks, you might say.
I like that. Okay, first, emotions drive decisions, connecting with hearts, not just minds.
Crucial.
Second, respond. Don't react to that entrepreneurial power of staying cool under fire.
Oh, yeah. Essential.
Third, make people feel important, building that tribe of believers around you.
People need to feel valued.
Fourth, establish rapport, your secret weapon for connection, and trust.
Can't overstate that one.
Fifth, use tact and diplomacy, navigating those inevitable challenges with grace.
And strength.
And strength, yes. Sixth, take responsibility and give credit, the absolute foundation of leadership.
Builds so much trust.
And finally, seventh, listen actively and ask the right questions, uncovering opportunities and building real understanding.
Where the insights hide.
All right, let's jump right in. Principle 1, emotions drive decisions. The core idea here is, well, people decide with their gut, with their feelings.
Right.
And then they use logic to back it up afterwards. For anyone building a business, understanding this is just huge.
It really is. You know, think about our brains. The emotional response often fires off before the rational part even fully clicks in. It's that gut feeling, like you said, and then we scramble to find reasons why it's right.
Yeah, justification.